Good evening, this is the Enosburgh Selectboard Town Meeting. This meeting is being recorded. As Chair of the Town of Enosburgh Selectboard, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by Governor Scott as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and pursuant to Addendum 6, Executive Order 01-20992, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. In accordance with Act 92, there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting. However, in accordance with the temporary amendments to the open meeting law, confirm that we are providing public access to the meeting by video, additional access offered through telephone. We're using Zoom video conferencing for this remote meeting. All members of the select board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if desired, participate in this meeting by clicking the raise your hand option via video or *9 via phone. Once acknowledged, please clearly state your name and then proceed with your question or comment. B, provide public notice and instructions for access to the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of necessary information for accessing this meeting, including how to access the meeting using video or telephone or posted meeting agenda. Instructions have also been provided on the town website, www.enosburgh.org. See, if you're experiencing technical difficulty and are not able to access this meeting with either video or telephone, please call 802-933-4421. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting that are not unanimous will be done by roll call vote according to the law. We'll begin this meeting by taking roll call. Larry Jarvis, Chair.
Polly Rico, Select Board Member.
Phil Rockledge, Select Board Member.
At this time, we need to make changes to or add any additions to the agenda. There are a few that I have in front of me. One is add discussion for a paving grant. One to add a letter of intent for municipal road grants discussion. One is the McGowan Road driveways. We need to add the minutes. And a discussion for municipal protocol for entering buildings. Anything else? Need to add originally? I'll need a motion. Second.
I'll move.
Second.
Polly Rico made a motion to accept. Phil Rockledge seconded that motion. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? If having none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Unanimous ayes, all those have been added to the agenda. It's now 6:10 and our first item on the agenda is personnel. The ambulance, which will need to be executive.
I'll move to go into executive.
I'll second it.
Polly Rico made a motion to go in executive. Phil Rockledge seconded. We have Dean Wright joining us right now at the moment. Any more discussion? With having none, all those in favor of going to executive session, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Unanimous ayes. Now approximately 6:12 and we're in executive session. All right, so there's no action for executive session. And we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is we're having an ambulance meeting with Richburg and other per capita towns. And realizing this is also these other towns meeting nights, we'll try to not go too long so they can go back to their own business meetings in their towns. Who do we have? We have Richburg. Any other towns on?
Dave Binion, Franklin Select Board.
Dave?
Binion, B-E-N-N-I-O-N.
Thank you.
We got Andy Pond and Sherry Paquette from Richford.
Okay, we'll try not to be too long so you guys can get back to your own meetings there. I don't know if Franklin has theirs going on. I believe Richford has theirs going on tonight.
Yep.
So basically wanted to revisit what we started talking a little bit last fall about the ambulance situations and basically for municipalities, and if we want to start leaning towards going to something regional or something different in that aspect, or all our contracts, most of the contracts are going to be coming up next year. So all the towns need to know going forward too, what the budget's going to be looking like next year. We do have our ambulance director here. He's crunched a few numbers, and basically where we have been with the per capita is way underfunded, and it's leaving the Enosburgh taxpayers in the front of the overages to pay, and there's already an over $30,000 from the general fund that the ambulance still needs to pay back. That was 3 years ago, I think that was borrowed out, so it's not a lucrative. We're not looking to make money, but we're looking to survive and provide a service for all the towns equally, and that's why we kind of were talking about it. If it's something that's regional, and all the municipalities have it. There's talk about do you want to stay municipal or do you want to go private? Well, the problem with going private is once you go private, you're not going to go back. You lose your leverage. You might not lose much income, or might not cost you a lot next few years down the road, but 5-10 years down the road, you're at their will. So I don't know the other towns, what your interests are going forward, but we all need to be in together to make this survive. An individual town, I know Richford, you're coming back up pretty good, but it was a struggle. And it's something that I think we need to have all our towns have the coverage. And it shouldn't be just because you live more miles away from the hospital and it costs you a lot more. That's one thing that discussion last fall, we were trying to get the legislature to see if there's some sort of reimbursement there, more mileage away, but that's not really coming to fruition yet. But anyways, thoughts going forward is the per capita where it's at, it's going to have to be raised substantially if we're going to keep going on that route. I don't know if you've got some thoughts, Andrew, to put in, or
I mean, just on the Enosburgh ambulance standpoint, our staffing, just like anybody else, other service, we have minimal staffing. Filling shifts is always a hard thing. Our biggest thing is, for us, our staff is one of the lowest paid in the district. So part of that per capita increase is obviously to help with the salary, but there's other big ticket items. There's equipment that has to be replaced every so many years. Ambulances don't run forever, so those have to be replaced every so many years. That's kind of stuff that we have to budget for, and part of that budgeting is determining what our per capita rates are going to be for our contracts with our towns. It's part of our revenue, what we get. It's not just revenue from billing for medical calls, it's revenue from our contracts and stuff as well. So there's definitely a bunch of things that I got to take into consideration when trying to figure out this per capita and stuff. My biggest thing is, where I have my staffing, I got to be able to pay them what the going rate is in the area, and we're well below that. So
basically $2 to $3 an hour
Yeah.
below on each
but,
level.
anywhere between $3 to $4 per hour, based on what other rates are, other services. So, yeah.
Anybody curious? Not sure. I know, Richford was approached by a private company, and I'm not sure if you have at Franklin either. I know there's other competition out there and going forward. But we want to keep having these meetings, probably should have them every couple months here, next few months, because we need to know before next year who's going to be on board and which direction the service is going to have to be headed. And I hear Mr. Magnan's now retired from the Franklin board.
Yep, he retired after 11 years.
He's younger than I am.
He was kind of burning out.
Yeah, I hear you. So are you the chair?
I'm the chair.
I don't know, what are your thoughts going forward? If the per capita, we're talking, substantial raise. I think it's like at 26. A few years back, we were up to 28-ish, and then we pulled it back. Well, that was a mistake on our part.
Currently, right now, they're at 25, 45 for this year.
25, 45. And that was to try to keep it competitive because we lost Sheldon and we we're trying to keep the towns that we had, but it just doesn't work financially. If you're in the ambulance business like he is, every call, you don't get paid, or you might get paid a percentage. And there's a lot of write-off in the business, so that's part of the problems we're having. And I guess if we had more staff members, you could probably pull some returns, I guess, to try to get some income there. But it's been difficult, especially without being able to raise their salaries, because we're already, in the red. Where you're going to find the extra money to pay more salary. There may be something coming down the pike a little bit for short term with the pandemic relief, but that's just going to be a Band-Aid for a little period.
So I just, for my own purposes here, as far as clarification, so what are we trying to basically find out if other towns are willing to have the conversation around a regional ambulance? And if not, then we need to talk about raising per capita prices. Is that what's on the table?
Or if there's not enough towns that are willing to stay with our service, we may have to look at private.
Or we may
That's
have
the
to look
third,
at
that's the third option that
Okay.
I'd rather not entertain.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is, coming from a small community, working for a small community EMS, I worked for Amcare for 6 years. They're the biggest service in the county. They do 5,000 calls a year. And the majority of their calls are transports. That's how they make their money. But running a small first response service in the town of Georgia, showing up at somebody's house in the town you live in gives them a comforting feeling. They're seeing a familiar face. It gives them some sort of relief, or what we call psychological first aid. It's the first thing that we do every time we show up on the ambulance, psychological first aid. It's a calming feeling for them. And being a small service like Enosburgh and Richford, it's the same thing. We're showing up to these people's houses. The minute we step in the door, they recognize us and they get that relief and that comfort. If Enosburgh were to go under and have to, God forbid, sell out to a bigger company like Ampere, which is now Butler, which is a huge non-transport company, and trying to go emergent, they're going to see brand new faces, and their anxiety is just going to increase, and they're not going to be offered these subscription plans that Richford and Enosburgh offer. That doesn't work for the big companies. So some of these subscription plans actually help people out, and it saves them money. for $75 for an ambulance ride that can cost them upwards of over $1,000, it's no brainer. So just the fact that you see somebody familiar every day and you're getting that like personal, also professional care, it just gives that patient some sort of relief. And it's the hard part, small EMS companies are struggling to stay in business because of the cost and the profit and stuff like that. A lot of them are nonprofit agencies that a lot of their funding is grants or fundraising, like the notch and stuff like that. So, there's quite a few small town EMS agencies that have closed their doors. And now they have other agencies that are traveling 45 minutes just to get to the scene. And then another 45 minutes to an hour before they get to the hospital. And, when it comes to major calls like heart attacks or strokes, time is important. So to not waste, but take 45 minutes to get to somebody's house, that's a huge time frame. Somebody that's having a stroke, there's that golden hour of determination whether or not they can get a medication that can save their life or potentially reverse the stroke. So 45 minutes, you got 15 minutes to get in the hospital and you're an hour and a half away. So it's the small town EMS, it's hard to stay in business, but it's what needs to be in the state of Vermont.
So the three options on the table, what are your thoughts around working regionally or, just what are your thoughts about the whole situation?
Well, at least for Franklin, right now, we're just trying to get a good overview of what the situation is. We've, I believe the town basically has been happy with Enosburgh. And I think we'd like to continue with that. But, money is always an issue for you, for us. So.
But definitely, it's, that's the unfortunate thing about this business is, like, it's great to provide the service, but, it has to sustain itself too.
Yep. And we understand that, so. Right at this point, everybody on the select board, we've discussed it. We're anxious to see what we're looking at so that we can start planning.
Right, do you know if Franklin Select Board, and I know you might not want to speak for all of them and that's okay, but have you had the conversation of
Are you going to be able to, or do you want us to wait? Come and talk to us. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I missed some of that.
Has the Franklin Select Board talked about entering another contract with Enosburgh? Is that your intention? And if you don't want to speak for the whole board, that's okay. I'm just asking.
Not directly. We've had some discussions about it, but there hasn't been any definite decisions, or we're still exploring.
Okay, thank you. Andy, were you saying something? Was there something you were saying?
Yes.
Yeah, we were having some conversation in the background.
Oh.
Yeah, we were, I think the consensus here is, yes, we would love to work together. As you know, we don't hold any contracts, so our price per capita is above probably what yours are. And we're looking to sustain our service also. So that is our interest. And, if it be a shared contract, that's kind of what we were thinking. Richford, Enosburgh work well together. I know Enosburgh's backed us up in the past. I was just looking over some calls in the past year. between Enosburgh, Berkshire, Montgomery, and Franklin, we've responded for a total of 88 calls within those communities. Majority of them being in Enosburgh because Enosburgh was out on a call where they didn't have a unit too. So it was just something I would like to put out there to think about.
So we're trying to crunch some numbers about where we think the per capita needs to be. And we're also pricing out another ambulance because we got a 13 that's due to be upgraded in another year. And we're looking at, for that one, should be just a chassis, but there's also some upgrades, so we don't know what the final sticker price is there, but to have an idea what the turnover cost for these ambulances are, I know a new one, now a new one's gone up more, but they were around 170, I think they're around 190,000 now, so.
We got a quote. We're actually looking at one right now. Robert Gleason's helping us out. And I think the quote with the trade-in of our old ambulance is about 151.
Okay.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing that we changed our ambulance types a few years ago, 13, to try to be able just to buy the chassis to make it cheaper. But now we're finding you're gonna have to upgrade the ambulance box quite a bit too. We haven't seen a sticker price on that yet, but.
Yep.
You try to save and then more costs keep coming up.
Andy, in Richford, is there like a Friends of the Ambulance or a nonprofit that does any fundraising for the service?
There's nothing really per se. I think the ambulance has a little fundraising once in a while. I have not been involved with it. I've really only been involved with the ambulance 6 months here, and I have not done anything on that end. We do have the subscriptions that bring in some money, but it's not to what we would like to see.
One of the, this is Sean Kyle, the Economic Development Director in Enosburgh. One of the discussions that Andrew and I had early on was the possibility of developing, and maybe should there be a collaborative effort, maybe a regional kind of friends of, EMS nonprofit should be created, because that can help offset and do fundraising for large capital expenditures like truck replacement or your monitors and things like that. I know that because there's grants and funding opportunities that are specifically available through foundations that are not available to municipalities, but they will fund nonprofits.
Okay.
So if that could be created collaboratively, that is something that, in conjunction with, whatever, other collaborations could be done. That's something that I think.
Right, like a Northern Vermont EMS, like.
Right,
Yeah.
and that could help offset, it would help create kind of a CapEx fund to help offset some of the costs of the individual services.
That's super promising that, you're willing to have those conversations about working together. So I guess our next steps, I'm trying to make clear for myself, are to reach out to our other towns. And then to crunch the numbers to see where we're at. And then go from there, and of course, to be in contact with Franklin to let you know our next steps as soon as possible. Am I right? Did I get that right? Okay.
Yep, that sounds good. But what you were saying about the nonprofit for fundraising, that sounds like it has some promise.
Sean here is in a position that we just started, fortunately, during the pandemic time, so. Going forward, we're hoping, you can come up with great ideas like this that'll help, not just us, but other town communities find things like this. This is kind of the first, the rest of the board has heard of this discussion, and that's definitely need some extra help, because a lot of times like the PPP last year, municipalities couldn't get that money, to help the ambulance personnel and stuff, but private people, that money was available. Definitely good idea. So yeah, I think we'll get with Andrew here, we'll crunch some more numbers and we'll have some more discussion with Richford there and definitely keep you guys in the loop over there in Franklin. We may end up sending Andrew around to different towns on their meeting night, maybe just to sit down and give some updates. You guys meet on Mondays also, Franklin? You're on mute?
We meet on Wednesdays. The,
Wednesday.
every other month, we meet on the 3rd, and the alternate months, we meet on the 1st and 3rd Wednesdays.
Okay. Okay, is there anything else you guys want to add? I know Richford's got a meeting going on too, so I don't want to hold their meeting up much longer, but if you got something to add, welcome to add it this time.
No, I think we're good.
Great, thank you.
Maybe we can coordinate a meeting with Richford and Cisco.
We'll have Andrew get in touch with you with possible meeting times and stuff to discuss Richford ambulance and other possibilities of what a regional would look like or other options that we have.
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Keep us in the loop.
Thank you.
Good evening.
No, my first started dropping.
I can't find
So that's, yeah, so we kind of know.
Coming up with that contract from the regional ambulance service, all towns,
Right,
but being able to split, okay, Cisco responds to this part, but this part, Berkshire, this part of Berkshire, this part of Montgomery, this part of, you know,
right.
Bakersfield and stuff like that. So, you know, help response times. Big things to figure out how the profits will be split and all that other stuff.
Yeah, that's, those are the discussions that,
What becomes regionalized? You can regionalize.
I know there was, Richford, I think they had discussion with a company up in Lowell area, Jay, that kind of formed something like that. That's somebody that.
Yes.
Take a,
MBA.
what was the name of that coordinator?
I'm not sure of her name. It was out in Troy.
Melissa Fontaine.
That could be it.
Yeah, she runs the Cisco Valley ambulance up there, or either her or Jen Petrie.
Jen. It's Jen.
Yeah, she runs the Cisco Valley ambulance.
Yeah.
I think it's one of your mutual aid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you may want to reach out to them just to see what their structure is like and how they do it through there and get a game plan.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
All right, so we're gonna move on. This is more discussion on the ambulance. Okay. Joey, is he coming
I
in?
didn't expect you to get done, so I told him it's 7:30 to be on the safe side, but I'll move it.
Okay, well, we've got a couple other things.
little hot.
We need to accept our minutes from the last meeting.
Um,
So they should have the May 25th minutes.
Remember my glasses when I come in here. Um,
Never time.
No, you got some sentence issues though.
I get interrupted a lot when I type in minutes.
So the discussion on recreation bylaws. Oh, you don't, right here, okay. I'll write it. Of an advisory board and not the SMLs and the person bylaws. They have good ideas. But the scheduling of meetings and postponement. Things don't go as they should. Or not that don't go as they should, they just, things move. Move more slowly. Yeah. Okay. Have we heard anything back from them? No? Okay. Hmm. I'll move with that one change.
Change of the Senate spectrum.
The sentence structure, and instead of it saying things don't go as they should, just say things move more slowly.
Do we have a second? Polly Rico made a motion to accept the dialogue change in that sentence. So I'll go ahead and second the motion. Any more discussion? We have none. All those in favor of accepting the minutes, signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. Unanimous ayes, the minutes have been approved. All right, so one of the added agenda items was the discussion for municipal protocol for entering buildings.
So, did I hear it?
I haven't been requiring it in my office. We just say
I
if
think it was
you're.
actually on DPR. And they were talking with about how municipalities were now handling the new guidance. Was that where I heard it? Where did I hear it?
I just know that every
Where did
town
I read
office
it?
is having their own, like some of them are keeping the plexiglass and some are keeping the appointments and things like that. And I think everybody's just doing town by town.
Town by town. That's what they were saying. They were saying. town by
We're
town.
gonna keep appointments with our office is small, right? Like we've been open and gonna stay open. and not
So that's
requiring
what
it.
I was thinking is that we just basically need to, I think people like knowing, right? So do we, but then I also know that the guidance is that in a healthcare facilities, you still have to wear masks. And is that, does this consider that? I mean, does this consider that?
I don't think so. I think the facility would be the end.
Yeah, I think this is more considered a public building.
Public building.
I think the healthcare facilities are considering nursing homes,
Right.
hospitals,
Yeah.
doctor's offices, stuff like that. And I
Right.
think it's based on their own policies. I'm not 100% sure.
I thought it was a state guidance, but that may be lifted as of tomorrow. So I feel like we should just specify whether it signs on the door that town offices are now open. And that if you're unvaccinated, you should still maintain a mask. What do you think?
Or, excuse me, how do you guys feel working there? What do you?
I'm
Yeah.
good with, because I've been vaccinated, Jess is vaccinated. I think we're all very comfortable with it, and we just say to people, when they come in with a mask, we appreciate it, but if you're vaccinated, it's not necessary unless you're comfortable with it. And that's the way we've been going with it. The only one I think that has concerns about which way they should go, and they're waiting on you guys, was the library. Right now, it's masks are required.
Yeah, so I feel like municipal buildings can put something on the door
If you're vaccinated.
if you're or if masks only required for the unvaccinated. I think that's ridiculous. In this building too.
It's going to close for now available.
Now it's, oh, right, now it's available,
How
right?
how does
I'm
that
not
work?
I think we still have- we don't have any.
So,
We use it when I'm.
oh, so maybe we have to nail down our cleaning
Like,
situation.
yeah, we're open, like, we're not wearing them and stuff, it's
Yeah.
not here, but,
I know the non.
maybe not quite open yet to this for groups unless they can offer somebody to clean.
Yeah, exactly,
I think that's fair.
yeah.
What are the requirements for the ambulance service and stuff now?
So as of right now, actually, as of last month, all restrictions have been lifted for EMS and fire personnel meetings, as long as fully vaccinated. There was at one point, you could have meetings without masks if there's one person unvaccinated. It meant there was more than one, everybody had to wear a mask, but they completely lifted that.
That's for
Okay.
meetings, but not, what if the ambulance,
Meetings, trainings, anything.
really, even on the ambulance?
Yeah, I mean, we're still, if somebody's showing signs of COVID or COVID-like symptoms, or we're doing nebulizer treatments,
Right,
then I believe the guidance is still N95s, and eye protection, stuff like that. I'd have to double check, see if they sent any more guidance.
I know it changes by the day.
We're not using it. Fuel home
Oh, you don't?
No.
So.
I know
would have to
recently-
change the personnel policy. for that.
So we added a COVID section.
You put in there based on
I think it was,
recommendations from the state.
yes, exactly, like everything we did was linked to the
Yeah.
state's website.
He's supposed to pretty much lift this within a few days,
As
I
of
would
A few
think.
days.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
what, 79 point some
Exactly.
crazy number percentage,
Hopefully
yeah.
they offer enough premiums over the weekend.
What's it,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Premium?
I said I hope they offered enough premiums over the weekend that people took advantage of it.
Well, New York.
New York's offering scholarships at college, it's like a lot.
Yeah.
Scratch ticket, one lady won.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Really?
$1 million for going to get
I
this
got
shot.
6, that's
Scratch
the thing I
ticket,
got.
millions.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
California, I think California did like 5 of those.
Yeah.
$5 million winners.
Yeah.
something like that. He's great.
I didn't even get a lollipop.
I know. I got nothing.
That's it.
My kid gets her second vaccine tomorrow.
Both of them said that.
Yeah, Diane gets her second one.
So those other three items are all with
She's
Joey.
already got it.
Lori gets her second one.
The paper grant, letter intent, McGowan are all. to do with Joey.
Yeah, and I texted him that we were done and he could come anytime.
We got some warrants here, we can go through,
Forgot one of those, that has a hank.
and it's 90 plus out. Maybe we can, once Joey gets here, we can crank to a rest.
He's umpteen when the signs are.
Haven't heard anything more on the merit rate.
So, actually, so I emailed Greta and Linda Elliott, who is the woman at the employee at the state. And This is what I said. I get like 50 emails today, it's not crazy. It says, hello, I'm checking back to say Enosburgh Select is prepared to put forth some money in order to work with grant funding. The actual dollar amount would need to be discussed, however. What are the next steps? The town is anxious to get into the building to do renovations, and they are wondering what the timeline is. Thanks so much. The response was from Linda to Greta and I. This is good news. Is regional providing any funding to implement the second phase? So that's for Greta to answer. Greta hasn't answered. It says, if so, then I get the engineering firm on board under the brownfields contract with the knowledge that regional went through a competitive bid process. So I don't know if they did. If it's the town and what's DEC? Department of Economic, Environmental, yeah. If it's town and DEC funds, then I'll need to go through a mini RFP, which means soliciting bids from 3 contractors. The DEC brownfield program has allocated 10,360 to assist in the phase. So they've already allocated 10,000 for us. Now we need to find out what is Greta allocated and.
I haven't seen any. I'm on brownfield.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything. I know they're.
She said July 1. Is that sound about right?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything that
Okay.
they've gotten capped up on their fund.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Okay.
I know that it was discussed at one point,
Okay.
but I think they were waiting
Right.
to get topped up on their fund.
So
I think it was expelled.
I'm waiting for Greta. I was gonna put another email out to her tomorrow and say, I need to know. Or I would like to know. No, I need to know.
I would like to know, BJ needs to know.
Yeah, we
She's
need to-
being anxious.
We need to be able to start moving on this project. As we rented a concrete cutter up to the fire, I'm thinking about the walls down there. We'll get them cinders out of there.
Bill did talk to somebody from the masonry.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, right. You said they do it.
yeah,
Yeah, so we just need to get the window sizes and let them know where they're going and they'll cut the holes.
how about the save?
I would assume you'll cut the hole for that too.
Over the doors and.
Yeah, he said he
Why
cut
are
it.
these
Because we can utilize the one that
duplicate?
she has.
Because it's 2 boilers.
We
Right.
moved
As
out.
long as you
Oh,
get a-
same
as long as you
day.
get a rough opening,
Yeah.
it's done before.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, see what he said.
I need to know.
I can't.
Said we can cut the wall to create an opening. Do you have any drawings or anything that shows location and dimension? I said, we're working on that. We're just trying to get our ducks in a row. So let me know. I'll be glad to help.
And that's the other thing, the Vermont Connections wants to get in there and start laying wire and stuff.
Yeah.
But they also need to know where people's desks are going to be, and things like that,
Yeah.
before they can do anything. Because we could. Get something started. Dang. That's not really-
They go small.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna be in there for a week, but the new ends and all that. At 5.
I can't drive an ambulance.
I could.
I'd trust you. I wouldn't trust you.
Drive 105 like it's my job.
You jeopardize those.
Yeah, exactly. I do sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, did I just drive through Sheldon? I don't remember driving through Sheldon.
That's scary, isn't it?
I know, you're like.
That's when you're thinking way too much about what's going on. You're not what's going on around you.
Won't be enough traffic this time of day.
No.
You're probably like,
Actually, so
Like
if
a
I
race car
park it, I leave at 6:20, nothing. If I so much as leave at 6:35.
Oh, no.
I think that's kind of like Shelley said, the earlier the better. She
Yeah.
leaves at or 6 or 6 o'clock.
But it's like a
She's good
15-minute
To
window.
Shelburne, but if she leaves at 6:30.
Yeah, it's like right.
So they had trouble at the Opera House.
I wasn't told, but that's what I got from Mr. Turner's.
These are all these meetings, but these are the same.
There's 2 boilers there, so boiler 1 and boiler 2.
Oh, gotcha, yeah.
You trying to tell us?
Are they gonna do anything with the Opera House?
They're painting right now.
Are they?
They have a lift
Any
over
events or
there and they're doing 2 sides and $15,000. And the PI group are supposed to be working on the tower. We don't know anything about that.
We should be signing off for, yeah, for if anybody gets hurt on the project.
Oh,
You're
you
gonna
mean like
take-
we had them sign last time?
Yeah.
Yeah, here didn't have them sign, but I will go over tomorrow.
Grab-
Still have
grab an
my,
extra one, so.
and I will
Do
have them
my
sign.
You never know. What may happen. Hopefully, insurance coverage on them.
Are we, do you send this recording to?
Local access?
Yeah, oh, you do? Oh, they just don't get it right,
They don't, and they don't record, but they get a copy.
they get a copy. Okay. Oh my God,
Wow.
this is happening in my mouth.
Where my comps? They like us, don't
Peanut
they?
butter. What?
Where is it?
Yeah.
I would eat
I like
these,
the
and then I would be
marshmallow.
like, oh.
21 grand.
This is like, oh. I can go days and weeks without eating bread,
Really, Susan, that is my
but
weakness.
this,
I have terrible stomach problems and that seems to be the only thing that really- I'm like, well, that's a happy.
it's this, it's like sugar.
Boston Pope Dairy makes a great bread.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, the
It
maple.
makes, yes, and it's like a BLT on that.
Oh, I just do
Oh
it
my
for
God.
toast. I just go, I'll just do the whole.
It's so crispy on the outside, but so soft inside.
Yummy. Oh, no. Oh, fine.
Yeah, I know.
Thursday.
Lori's father always just, out of it, out
Oh,
of it.
yeah.
Oh, it's good bread.
It's Thursdays, they're
Not
fresh.
very bread.
Thursdays?
Yeah, it's awesome.
My favorite is the raspberry sheriff.
They'll call me sand, I go in there and sand and I just take a gift certificate. I'll stop by, grab something here or there.
Yeah, I thought,
Susan tells like, I'm gonna take it off your thing.
give us like muffins. We're like, we're fine, give us more muffins.
Yeah, yeah, the muffins are very good.
That's the baking season.
Linnea does,
I think Ann does quite good.
Oh, is that?
and does, Linnea does a lot. And does a lot of cheese stuff.
Almost every takeout place, restaurant, wherever you go, it's like Los Angeles curds for the container.
Yeah, exactly.
It's made,
Well, that's why.
they must make hundreds of pounds a week.
No, I went in there with, and they had like these pillows of curds. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so many curds.
Is that like a week though? It's like, it must be every week to keep up with that.
I don't
Right?
know. I love doing it.
Good thing they got you now.
Good thing.
Haven't been back there since you saved us. I mean,
Christmas time. God want them out.
Right.
I ran up. Gotcha. Ran back to his house. and then Back up to rescue his family.
Amelia, pregnant Yvonne, we're all outside.
The dog is like.
Wag, 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 wag. Now I know why you got rid of it. Which, I got a puppy.
I know you're remembering the woes right now.
Oh, it's
Thank
okay.
you.
What was I thinking?
But then he cuddles and then you're like, this is what I was.
No, right now he cuddles for a hot minute and then starts chewing your face. I love them too.
I would have like
Training
5 or
them.
6 dogs.
So I think like
I'm
a
thinking 5 is good though. Gary.
retirement. I think
Everybody-
like a doggy daycare.
Waiting on video call, we're just waiting for our town road foreman to finish up business for the evening.
Yes, I have been looking
See,
at.
this
it.
is where I
Like,
go
you
in.
know, at my office.
It's on.
The guy owns
I'm on the second section.
it's $50 a time, but it bills $220.
I've noticed maybe once a month for a couple days during the month.
Out of that
I think it
one,
was
It
55.
doesn't.
55 a time.
Was it 55? or
No,
50?
it's 50, I think, wasn't it?
I have to go back to the contract. I don't.
It'll hurt me. It will hurt me, but I want one.
If it, can you write a little note on that and then I'll check it. I'll check the contract. If
Where do
it
you
is,
want
I'll,
the
if it is, I'll just adjust it and tell him and I'll put a copy of the contract in.
But, where do you want me to note it?
Right on the front page of the warrant.
Yeah. Sorry. I forget. Right.
That was this tractor supply thing done.
It's like chart 55.
I'm reading.
I heard everything was in place.
Last I knew, they just got a letter from the environment.
Right.
Regional, yeah, written a letter to say that they wanted to include the road from Pomeroy over to Cheese Plant.
Yeah,
And they wanted that amendment in the new agreement.
okay.
So yeah, I think the engineer and lawyer I have to read. The next thing would be to see if the new map, the map that we're waiting on comes in. With that right away. But the caveat to that is, if they do that, in the wording of the agreement, the village has to agree on that road and maintain it. So that might be the same. I don't really know, but it's part of the structure of the agreement, A, B, C, D, and one of it was, because I think the village was asking for it, or the town, DRB, or somebody was asking for that. So they said that if that gets put in, it would have to be under the agreement that the village takes ownership and maintains that road. So
Does the village know
They do now. Like I just talked to Gary and Jonathan and tell them this.
That would be like me building a house and on private property and saying I would like the town of Enosburgh to take care of
Well, in
it.
a sense,
Oh,
it is
wait.
different because you're asking for the truck traffic to be rerouted through their
Oh, so
property.
it's not just like
It's
another
truck traffic.
asset.
Truck
Okay.
traffic that's going over the cheese plant to be rerouted up through the
Through
shopping
their,
center.
that makes sense.
Yes.
I
So that's,
see. I thought
so
it
they're
was
in
just like
conversations
another
right now
asset.
with the village
Yeah.
to see where, what their thoughts are.
Gotcha.
Do you wanna take it from this way?
Gotcha. I thought it was just like another point of access.
No.
Tractor supply. I was like,
What?
okay.
And I think. Agree to this because.
And why would
Going
they
to their
wanna,
property.
why would they wanna reroute traffic back there?
I don't know, but that's something that Rachel asked for. They asked specifically for that.
See, I thought it
Be
was,
back and forth between those two places.
well, so I thought it was originally like a connectivity thing, so that like when we talked about walkability, that you would get all of those people so that it would basically you'd be able to kind of walk.
It's not really walking, but it's literally, both. That's one's industrial.
Oh, but when you think about the amount of people who work there who could access businesses, right? And
Yeah.
so when, so what you're trying to do is create connectivity between your building, your industries or whatever to businesses so that it has economic.
Right, no.
So that's what I originally thought it was. I didn't realize it was going to be it
It sounded to me like
That's right.
from the conversation.
To divert trucks.
To divert truck.
I think it was always the intent.
Oh, interesting.
Because there's always been complaints on Pleasant Street with the truck.
Wow, that's true.
Even though Bates did,
Tractor's fine.
what, 4 or 5 years ago, they changed from the stockyard. They made that road out there, so going down East Street. And I don't know, if people like, I still don't like it, because it's truck, but there's always gonna be truck traffic.
Yeah.
Because you've got John Doe's on the corner, and then big trucks that go over there. And then you've got Bates midway through the street, there's always gonna be people over in there, so, I mean, you're not really gonna lose truck traffic.
But yeah, I can see if they're gonna take that, put that kind of weight on the road that's gonna be a private one. Yeah, why would I wanna maintain that?
Yeah, exactly.
You're maintaining it right now, the village. is.
Right.
That's what it is about.
Oh, right.
Joey.
Joey?
Hey, Joey.
He felt left out. Sit next to my friend with brownies.
My friend.
It's literally sitting here going, hey, 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 hey. Oh.
Yeah.
No.
I can see that Tupperware cover.
So we're a little bit ahead of schedule there, and we're up to your 3 items there.
Yeah.
Probably have more than that. It's basically talking about paving grant and letter of intent for municipal road grant and down.
Yeah, just got a contract between town and V-Trans for paving grant. And we're supposed to be getting, probably expecting probably tomorrow, I'm gonna get one, same type of thing for structure. Or within the next 2 days, I would say, because it is.
Was that the one?
Yeah, that's this one right
Was
here.
that one?
What was the number? P01999.
Yeah, we have that one.
So I can give you the whole stack, just one signature, I guess Larry's signature. on the Right hand side, so on page 2, before you sign, but here's the whole agreement, it's pretty generic agreement between the state and the mall.
And, oh, yeah.
It's like 30 pages, but
And then what, are we paving? Do you have to specify?
yeah, it's on the section on the Boston Post Road.
His application. when he submitted.
Oh,
Right,
yeah, okay,
yeah.
I got you.
What section is that? Probably gonna be from Stonehouse where we left off last year, up through the Enosburgh Center as far as the money will go. Down towards the Tannery Four Corner. This application was actually the one that was sent in last year because they did nothing with them and didn't dish out any money. They said you could just resubmit the same application, just found to use it again. So that was for the section from the Bakersfield line down to Sand Hill. But we ended up doing that with our own money, so it's actually different than what the application says, but just better.
So it's 175,000.
Yeah, that's the maximum that you're worried about. You guys spend like.
And then we do a 20% match.
Yeah, you guys spend like 220,000, 218, 220,000. Which most of our matches. Labor and equipment, materials of our own, so.
Okay.
Culverts change. Plus we got our own $100,000 to spend as well.
Yeah, it's makes a lot of.
Just gotta figure out how we're gonna piece it together there, but thinking. Go from Sand Hill to Tannery Four Corners. This left will be done, there's some culverts there need to be changed. And then. I don't know, either start for Stonehouse and get as far as we can to the Tannery coming from the other way. Try to connect that all together or.
I noticed there's a pretty good bump there right after the bridge, between the bridge and the sculpture place.
Yeah, that's a culvert we changed last year.
Oh, yeah.
Been changed, but yeah, it's gotten
with frosting and that stuff, it's kind of settled out.
Yeah, farm rules and compacting.
Yeah.
I went through there today and I keep my push mower on the back of the trailer. Of course, it's like riding the back of the
Yeah,
bus.
yeah,
Wow, I watched it go up and down like, hit the trailer, like, yep, good one.
yeah, one day you're. So-
Back in the trailer.
I'll make a motion to approve the pet shaving grant. Unless I missed something.
I'll second.
Alarico made a motion. Bill Rocco second motion to accept the paving grant application. Any more discussion? Having none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed say nay. Size. paving grant.
Let that box covered by, what's her name there? Catherine.
And we won't know about that for probably till the 1st of July. I didn't expect to hear about these until the 1st of July, so I suppose it could
Do we
be.
know how long those box culverts take?
Yeah,
Yeah,
It take a while,
yeah.
what was that, 3-4 years?
or at least.
Well, we applied last year for that one, and the reason we didn't get that grant last year to replace that one that you're talking about is because they were just doing A and B projects. They weren't doing stream bank structure projects.
But
Last
the one
year,
they-
they cut back the money.
What we did by my house, that was.
Yeah, that was a
6,
different program.
10 years maybe. or
Yeah,
something, 50,
It was a
something
long, I think it was, we were talking about, it, I think when I got on the board.
Yeah, that was a FEMA mitigation project, so federal government was involved, so, yeah, it takes.
like that. I was kind of hoping you guys wouldn't go by on the flooding and charge me for lakefront property.
There you go.
The picture of me fishing on my front lawn.
How's the bridge by you? Is that where we have it at? Bridge 50.
Oh, the old one's all far out and they're building the new one back, so.
And down to the base and it's warming up and rebar and bins and
Must
everything.
look pretty decent. Anyway, it's stripped out there.
I see the hole.
It's a big hole.
I
It's a big
bet.
hole where they
There's some heights
dug
there.
down from
deep.
there.
Really?
I didn't think they'd have to go down that far, but they went down
Yeah,
quite a ways.
Wow.
yeah, I bet they're,
Why is that? How far it was for a base, solid base?
I guess, so they're gonna get into some solid rock.
Yikes.
It's the price there. It's gonna be a lot of concrete stack out back up there.
The guys down at campground and now panning for gold.
Yeah.
They're gold downstream.
Yeah.
Wouldn't think about that.
So this other one is the municipal roads, grants and aid work. It would have been, I don't guess this is like the 5th year. And it's basically just signing this letter of intent to participate in that next year, which our base offer. All towns were to participate, we would be getting $20,000. Yeah, $20,900. So you'd have to do like a $26,000 project in order to get $20,900. There's a pretty good chance that all towns aren't going to participate, so we'll probably get more than that.
Okay.
And that is to do work like stone lining, ditches, and upgrading culverts, larger culverts, water quality, like
Okay.
grants and. That just requires one signature. With the rest of the.
Oh, just Larry.
Larry.
Yeah.
We sign it, we send it back to them, and then they'll sign it, send it back, and it's what they call an executed grant agreement at that point. But we still can't start anything with it until after the 1st of July. Which is a 2-year grant.
It is a
So you don't, we didn't have to do it this year. We want to.
Okay. Oh, I'll make a motion to sign and have Larry send a letter of intent to participate in the municipal roads grant in aid program.
Collier made the motion, Dean Wright seconded the motion. Accept another intent for participating in this rules grant program. Any more discussion? If having none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say nay. Ayes. Approved.
And if we do end up getting a contract for a structure grant, it'll be for the bridge on Tyler Branch that we've been talking about. Bridge 51
Tyler Branch. Which one's that?
towards Stuffy Hill.
Oh,
To resurface it.
Yeah, to do some rehab the deck here to pick out any loose concrete, patch the holes, new guardrail.
it's dirt there. No,
Dirt road.
yeah, dirt road, yeah, okay. Right.
Almost should pave a skirt on either side of that thing, huh?
Yeah, we should pave the whole road.
Yeah.
Really.
Get some pretty serious bumps on
That is
it.
the number one road that I hear about all the time. Why don't you pay that?
Yeah, actually, now that you've done Duffy Hill.
Yeah.
That would close the loop on
Right.
with all the grading in that area.
Yeah.
We should look into that. maybe next year or something.
We should maybe this year, you know, if it works out, do from the four corners.
Do
to the
some.
bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wonder if we got a good price on the other. on
Right.
that.
They did say that there might be money coming to highways for infrastructure.
Right.
Plus we got our we set aside there for
Yeah.
paving fund there. We'll have to look at that, give us a price on that as well.
Yeah.
The other stuff. Eventually, yeah, it should be all the way up.
the prices probably going up a little bit. Fuel's going up. and-
I don't know, yeah, I haven't really heard.
We got some on McGowan Road.
Yeah, I remember the people that built the driveway on the right or on the trail portion there. I went-
Oh, yeah,
Got their curb cut application and it's probably a little different than just your standard driveway because they're using a legal trail as their driveway. But they've done a good job doing what they've done. They've built it 12 feet wide, but trouble being is there's banks on both sides. There's no ditches, no place for water to run, heavy flow, and no place for snow.
When you said they're using the trail as their driveway, are they using it as their access to their driveway or as their driveway?
Access to their driveway, they're fixing it up as a driveway standard, it's been 12 feet wide, which is kind of told them they could do. So I talked to them about it, of course, they're on a limited budget, they're trying to do everything themselves, and they don't have a lot of money, so. We need to do more, because right now, a fire truck can't even get to their house,
yeah.
even now, winter time, definitely not gonna get there. They've got a turnaround kind of started and built, but it's not really big enough to turn around like our engine one up here. So, I don't know, I tried to get them to show them what they needed to do. They didn't want to cut that many trees, they didn't want to do this. They're limited budget and don't have a lot of money, so. You need to fix it so emergency vehicles can get up here, it's for your own good.
Are they building?
They're doing that themselves, and they were started when I was up there, they were doing some foundation work.
Once they do that, who's responsible for that section of the road? Because it's a trail, right?
Right, yeah,
At the end of the driveway.
it'll be their driveway, and yeah, and our standards are pretty vague, it says 12-foot minimum, basically, that's about all it says. And they can get it 12 foot, they don't have ditches. She said, well, I never saw in writing where you had to have ditches, well, they said, it's kind of common sense, and you gotta have it.
And water's gonna run downhill.
Yeah, and they put in some under drains and some drainage and stuff,
Okay.
and, but that might catch the seepage, but it's not gonna, you get a heavy flow like that flood that we got, or. It's not-
Also add that extra language in the driveway permits.
And they gotta understand and realize, yeah, maybe they should, but they don't have a lot of money to do it, so they want them to know about signing a waiver, saying that they understand that maybe emergency vehicles don't go get to
right.
that place. Until they.
That'll be up to their insurance company, really.
Well, that's
You
what,
know,
that's what I was thinking about
I mean, as far as we're concerned, is that a big deal for them to get a fire truck in there?
Well, I think it is,
I
if we
mean-
knowingly let them build in a place where they could be, put themselves in jeopardy.
I don't think,
Well, there's others around, there's
Yeah,
other
but-
driveways around, or
I think,
Couldn't get a fire truck.
But on
at
those,
certain
you
times.
guys weren't asked to knowingly sign off
on what?
on. Please, can I sign a waiver to say that you're not responsible?
Yeah,
Putting
no,
ourselves in
that's what,
danger.
I don't think we should even sign a waiver. I think,
But
I
if
mean,
we don't
there's
take it out
nothing-
of our hands and put it in someone else's, where's that gonna put us later on?
well, it's private property. I mean, we
Well, the
have,
trail isn't. The trail is the town's trail.
And we
Yeah.
converted these
but
trails
we don't need
to,
to get a
for the maintenance
ambulance
part
on
of
the
it, right?
trail. We needed to get an ambulance to the house, or a
Right.
fire truck to the house.
So
But it's,
is it the trail portion of it that that should be upgraded?
Their driveway portion isn't much. I mean, they're basically
it's just off.
like the car.
Right.
I mean, a class 4 road had ditches.
No, not really. I mean, it's.
Never had that thing.
No.
The only thing is, and that's what I'm saying, is it's private property, and the only thing in our bylaws is, I believe if it's access more than. Wait, where have it?
But I don't know if you guys remember that day we were inspecting those roads. You remember what it looked like then?
Oh, I don't know.
They were dragging the stone up there with the tractor.
Yeah,
Banks on both sides.
yeah.
But you know, that's the way it is.
They
They cut some trees. They did cut some trees that were leaning in there. But I pointed out, you need to cut all those trees, get rid of the stumps and take these banks back and.
At least
they
you're
kinda
pushing
wondered,
water out.
and that fire towards the house, it's even worse. I mean, there's a trail and there's a real bank. It's probably 5 to 6 feet tall. With like big maple trees going on it. They said, well, how far back you think we're big? I said, by the time you get all out of it, you want to get back here 20 feet from the top of your slope. So it's somewhat of a swale and then 20 feet, well, you can't believe that. And on the other side, it kind of like drops right off, so.
So does, like, our portion of the road that you plowed goes right up to that trail?
Yeah, it goes right up.
So if that washes out,
And we turn around.
that potentially could fill our ditches, number one, I mean, you guys were more in a flood situation where that's gonna wash into our road.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna have to repair that.
That's what I was thinking is, like,
Without ditches, there's no place for water to go other than across the top and wash all their dirt down onto our road.
because if it's somebody's property and it's their driveway and it keeps washing out, like, that's their problem. But
Right.
when it starts
Right.
impeding our roads, like, all I can think about is, the culverts, right, along. And it's like, you wanna keep replacing culverts, that's your dime, but it was wearing out our road in the process. So it's when it wears out our road, that's where it.
And that's what you see the potential for.
It's gonna be.
That's a good
more of
snow
their
area.
problem
I
than
mean,
our
it's-
problem.
that elevation is pretty good.
So you haven't had the board
No,
sign there.
so-
the-
No,
Side.
normally I would put on here, tell them what they need to do for culvert. They've already put in a culvert, which is 18 inch at the, like at the end of the class 3. In the beginning of the class 4, but they only put in like 20 feet. There isn't even running up the. I was up here the other day, can't even really drive the front end of the grader for what they've got. It's 20 foot culvert at an angle. Yeah, it's barely 12 feet wide.
All right, gotcha.
So
But
they
it's
need
one-
to put in the elements and you gotta have 30 feet is minimum length.
So what do you do with the other places around that aren't that? Like, I think about up on Chimney Road, towards the top, right, it turns into,
Turns into private road.
right?
I mean, so for me,
Yeah.
I guess it's their responsibility or zoning's responsibility. I don't really have to say once you get out
Right.
right away. I tell them what we need to do in the town's ditch and
Right,
now, once they get out of the right of way, I guess it's up to the zoning to say it needs to be this wide.
right. So it almost needs to be in zoning bylaws that whatever driveway you make has to be able to accommodate emergency vehicles.
Probably
I think
should
that.
put-
language
make-
is-
plus
Well, it's
this-
further right up,
Here's the width plus ditches on top of that.
Or bring it to our standards.
or bring it to our standards, because
Yeah.
what's in there, like I said, is if it accesses multiple houses, then you have to have a turnaround, a hammerhead
Right.
in order for any, but it doesn't say that for a single family home.
Right.
That's the issue of a lot of these,
But-
went in before all these
Right,
bylaws came into effect.
Almost needs to have Joey signing off as the road foreman for the village fund, but the fire too, so he, can make
Right.
sure that the rest of it is. Because,
If they're-
even if they're not comfortable, or they're comfortable with the fire trucks not getting up to their house.
Right.
driving up there, Firemen are still gonna try to save them, they're gonna
Right.
pack in or something, and that's not fair.
And that could be putting them in
Zoning
danger, too.
administrators could be involved too, with not giving an occupancy permit. If this hasn't been
right.
And that's a big thing with them.
Right.
Isn't the zoning require them to get letters from the fire department, EMS, make sure the roadways are up to date?
They don't. I do know they have, for other developments, they have come to
Yeah,
the fire chief,
is there,
said what do we need to do for zoning.
they had,
It's the right thing to do.
I had some paving company contact me, said they need a letter from me saying that their proposed plan to meet the requirement for ambulance access.
So that must have
It's
been,
the same,
I think that was
same thing as the fire.
I was gonna say that sounds like a condition on a permit. Because you can put that as a condition on a permit, is that it must be built out.
But you're
But-
talking about Georgia though.
No.
No, I think it's Tractor Supply because they asked for a letter from Mark as well.
This was
They got his
for,
name.
I had two separate ones. There was two proposed properties on Water Tower Road and then Wayne's World Road.
This olive water tower that's in Enosburgh is.
So, yeah, so I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, I mean,
It
it's,
should be all the same.
it is the same as far as like,
There's gonna be some
Emergency.
statements. Laws in there too, I'm assuming.
well, the state laws are the specs that we were talking about.
Fire code and stuff. There's
Yeah,
specs
like,
for driveways.
They don't have, well, we do. We didn't look into the residential driveway part of it, but we did look into like a shared driveway, shared access, and then the next stage, it becomes a private road.
Right. So maybe, so I don't know what we do with this one because it's not in the bylaws, but I wonder if we put it on the agenda of the planning commission that says they need to look at emergency access vehicle or emergency access to single family homes. And not just right of way access, like driveway access, because that's the other thing is we can put conditions on right of way. We don't put conditions on driveways, but in
is
the
there a
bylaws
spot on the board conditions?
for his recommendation, but it's not in the bylaws.
No, but if it's a
Yeah.
condition of the permit that they're getting. there's a
That's
condition on
his
it.
curb cut permit. It's not a building permit.
No, but what I'm saying
Yeah.
is he can still put conditions on his permit that we follow, right? I mean, it's a legal document.
Right, but it's not like, we can't hold up, we can't say you can't build your house there.
Oh, no, that's not what I mean, but
Right,
you
you know
tell
what I
them
mean?
what they have to have as far
Right.
as fixed.
Right,
I mean, as far as the culvert, I can tell them, yeah, you need to put in another 10 feet culvert at minimum, or 21 feet
Right.
culvert. Because you can pass some leverage there, but it's private, it is a trail, it's not private.
right,
They're using it as a private driveway,
but
but it
it's
is a legal
not,
trail.
it's a legal trail, right? So that's where you have to spin in the game, but if a private driveway,
Normally, people hire a contractor
Yeah.
or somebody to come in with some equipment. And they build them a driveway, they're trying to do it like a little farm tractor themselves. I understand they-
something happened to your driveway. There was something there too. Wasn't it? Anyway. I thought I remember when you built your house,
I had to go through,
through another one and then you had a driveway come off.
I went shared driveway.
Right, it was shared.
Actually, the driveway goes through the farm, get to my land.
Right,
And I think they probably realize or will try to do this, but it's not gonna happen right off, so I don't know what kind of. Come
conditions.
winter time, they've got snow banks, they only got 12 feet and there's already dirt banks, so. They said, well, we got a snowboard, goes behind a tractor, so we don't blow the snow, well, even then, slippery conditions.
Right.
Be lucky if an ambulance can get up there full drive.
Right.
To mention the fire truck getting up there longer. Like,
How far are they up for that? All from the last week.
I would say a good 500-600 feet probably. 400 to 600 feet
Of driveway?
up the private road before they turn into their driveway.
Were you with us?
Yeah.
I remember that we were tracking,
And
and people were walking through the woods down below. And
Yeah. They've done a good job with what they put there. They
Right.
haven't gone very far. I mean, there's no gravel after a certain point. It's just driving off whatever trail had before.
is it a seasonal home?
I don't think it's gonna be.
That'd be the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a camp. I think it's gonna be a permanent residence. So I just throwing that out there saying maybe we need to, or if I can put conditions in there that they need to improve on the road. I don't know what kind of emergency service you can provide if you can't get there. I mean, there's other driveways we got in town that certain times of the year that you're not gonna get fire
Right.
trucks there either.
So I'm just trying to like think about this, I'm gonna just like, I'm thinking out loud, that's why. So what criteria do you use to make that call your own?
Right now, yeah.
Okay,
I can see what they need to do.
right,
This is what you need to do. You need to put these
Right.
trees.
and
Like
so,
that stuff.
what-
Dig up there,
right,
put some ditches in.
and what happens when somebody's like, I'm not gonna do it, then you don't give them the permit,
Right,
right, okay,
yeah, don't sign off on it until it's the way you want it. It should be.
I feel like to save our own tail, we need to get it into the bylaws for sure. Because how does somebody know that you're just not? Like yay for you and no for you,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Whereas if you get it in the bylaws, it's like we're following the rules, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think
Yeah.
that's definitely.
Yeah, because that's what's gonna happen. If this guy catches on to what this
Yeah.
guy did, it's like, why do I
How
have to
come
put ditches in? He didn't
so-and-so,
have to.
exactly.
Yeah. No,
We
it should
talked
be-
about this before. This is a residential driveway,
Yeah,
curb cut application. You need to have a residential driveway, and you need to have a shared driveway. And then you need to get into a private road, have different.
Yeah.
Possibly different rules.
You're
for
right.
each stage.
which we've talked about before, I just keep kind of sending it to their planning commission.
So because we have one shared.
Oh my God.
What they decide will be for both the town.
Yeah.
What comes.
No, exactly. I bet they won't have the issue, 'cause- yeah. I mean, remember we even tried not having driveways longer than 800 feet, remember that? Yeah, no, I think, yeah, they need to put that in there. That should be like a priority, because we've been kicking that around for a long time.
what is there in that certificate of occupancy requirements for emergency service vehicles? Is that covered at all?
I don't, technically, we don't really cover that. They cover number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms. Is it finished? Toilet flush? Did you build it to the size that you said you were going to? Did you do everything that you're,
Structure, not.
on what you were committed for, then something like that that is there and is very important, but they don't think about it.
Come call our insurance company, they may answer some questions for us.
That would be your leverage, I guess. You tell the occupancy permit, so we got the driveway. But I understand if they have the house built, they want to move in and they need a place to live, but they can't afford to do it right away.
Right. I mean, I think the old school way of thinking was you do you bought your property, if your driveway washes out every 5 seconds, ambulance can't get to you, that's your decision. But,
And maybe it is that way.
Right,
Maybe we don't have the responsibility for that, other than telling them this is what you should do
but that's the
Right.
thing.
what you need to do as soon as you can, but just, know that if the fire truck or ambulance can't get here, they'll be able to get there safely. They're
Yeah,
not gonna get there,
right.
not do the next best
And
thing.
you documenting it on this driveway permit covers us down the road, saying, we asked you to do this. Don't go soon as, because your house.
So what
has to
happens
get
with
there.
like
Yeah, but-
driveways to camps? Like
Yeah.
somebody's hunting camp,
Because the thing is that
like
our responsibility.
up high
is
on a
only-
mountain.
Is only to the right of way. Town right of way, that's it.
Are we gonna require that? I mean, that seems excessive.
What they do
but-
after is totally up to them.
Still
I feel that because like.
It's still a
and Joey
driveway.
would
Still a
confirm that
driveway.
They will do whatever they can
I
to get
know.
their equipment, put that fire out, and that's putting them in danger, that's not fair.
I know. But,
And just like with Andrew, like, they'll hike in with that backbone,
yeah,
and again, that's not fair.
Can we do a grandfather for this guy and
$400.
change it after?
well, I mean, that's what.
Do you have a date? that- of course, it would be- They won't meet again until.
I
Maybe
told
they
them
could have one
they get-
soon.
This application was given to me back in March. And I think for the last time I was here, I told you about this. And
Yeah.
I said I hadn't gone to see them yet. I've seen them and I told them, they wanted me to, they said, oh yeah, we're willing, if they're, sign a waiver or something saying we understand, but fire trucks may not always get here, and the ambulance, emergency services may not get here until we can improve our driveway.
Like say, this is the last one.
Today, the ambulance, I'm sure we get there, fire truck, probably good, but it won't take too much bad weather. They won't be able to get to it.
And this one, even with this new change, am I wrong with this, for the planning commission, even if they wrote language for it, it's not really gonna affect this, because this is a trail. That's the tricky part of this,
It's the
because
tricky part of it.
they're
It's
going
not
on a
just
trail, it's
driveway.
not their driveway.
Do we have to give them permission to use that?
We did
To
already.
upgrade it?
Yeah, we allowed them to
But that's,
just fix it up to be a driveway standard.
The
instead
language
of
have to say.
The
having to
road
fix it
standard.
up to class
The
three standard.
roads.
We allow them to do that.
is the trail
Yeah, that's-
ours?
To our standard, yeah.
So we
they
have more
fix it up
say
to
over
driveway
that than
standard,
we do
12
their
feet wide.
driveway, that's what
There's
I'm
no-
thinking.
No, I
there's
agree,
any
but
real language saying you
having
need
the
to
planning
have,
commission
12
create
feet
verbiage
driveway plus 2 feet of shoulder.
About creating
Yeah,
about
access.
access is not really going to help this situation, because the access that they're using is our trail that is just that.
But did we specify that they had to maintain that part of the trail? We did.
They
Yeah,
need to maintain the driveway. the
Right.
trail. Yeah,
right. So if we said you have to maintain it, now we set the specs of how you maintain it. It's our trail. But the driveway, that's why I'm just trying to work it out in my head. I almost think I have to think about it. And I can call other towns to see what they do.
I bet you happens a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all over the place, people build houses all over the place,
Not so much.
Is
off
that-
trails, so that's, off.
I mean, it was a class 4 road. It's not a trail. I mean, we made it a trail. It's a class 4 road. No, well, I know how that goes, but, yeah, exactly. But
oh, yeah.
people cut roads all over the place. What's the town's responsibility? Like, you know what I mean?
Normally, I tell them, the town ditch, we put all this down, this big around, and it's down both sides, the water, on the road.
Well, that's the
And that,
piece.
once it's out of the right of way, it's really not my say.
That's the piece, right?
That
If it
falls
messes
into
our
zoning at that
road.
point, which really all it says, it needs to be 12 feet wide, and like I said, normally, you can fix it so the water can run off the road. off their
But
driveway.
it does say that it does say that the right of way has to be 50 feet.
That's just the right of way, but it's not
Right.
a road.
No, exactly.
You're gonna have.
Nothing can be built in the 50 feet. Yeah,
Well, I'm concerned about how the neighbor would feel about cutting the rest of those trees. That's still in right away in the trail, so.
Wouldn't be.
Yeah. I don't know what to do.
I guess we need to do some
Research.
And so with the planning commission, do you want them to work with Joey and
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
On creating someone?
Yes.
For both the town and the village.
So tell them like what the spec should be for driveways.
So there's people here, and then put all my recommendations that they do for the driveway, I guess, on the sides upgrading the culvert or something longer.
Now, definitely be strict on making sure
They understand.
after our right of way, they're doing the right thing, so it doesn't affect your roads.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we have the skin. It's impacting our road. If we have to spend money to fix a road because of your inability to do that, that's where we have some say.
Yeah, but on something like that, number one, what's the fine? What's the lead time?
No.
Well, it's gonna be a cost and expense if we have to fix it, so what do we give them for a time frame?
Well, no, we're signing the permit saying they have to fix it. It hasn't happened yet.
That hasn't, I know, I understand
I
that, but
don't
the thing is that I'm looking in the future. Say it goes through and it washes out our road.
Yeah.
Is it their dime or our dime?
Well, what have we done with that?
Well, we're gonna fix it.
It's not the first time water run down somebody's driveway and that washed outside the road.
No.
Happens about every year.
Exactly.
And then from there, they say, well, we have no money.
Well, that's what that would be my problem.
Usually we fix the road and I have to go back up the driveway with the grader and make the water back.
Right.
Nobody's-
Actually,
if they-
that's our trail. You have to do that.
But then I'm just talking
Right.
about any other driveway.
Yeah,
You have to back up and make a water back so it doesn't happen again tonight.
All right.
Yeah, I've seen some people that actually, they don't want that water there, so they make it go into the road. So it's okay.
Yeah.
Joey needs to reroute that and
Right.
come back and. Big story.
Are we liable for fixing that trail up at all? That's kind of what we were getting away from, right?
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no obligation.
No, that's why-
That's what we made it legal trails, right?
And we made a legal trail, and we said, oh, by the way, this is a legal trail, you have to maintain it. It's not a- Exactly.
And they understand that.
No. No,
I know.
I didn't give any numbers.
But I think
This was.
do a little bit of research, but
We should probably change some language for sure, but in this case, I think we just need to tell them,
this is,
this is what you really should be doing.
Oh, no.
And we don't-
and I think it should be stated on that permit, even if they do get accepted, that this is what we're asking, that should be done.
I don't like there's some language on here, like site distance is up to the discretion of the road plan.
Right.
Some of that other stuff would be worded that way. It's a per case basis. I mean, like I said,
It's
hire
all-
somebody to come in and it's an equipment and then they're gonna say, well, this is what you can do. And people don't want to do it.
Right.
We
I
didn't
think
even-
these people kind of just not disturbed anymore.
Yeah.
Which I get, and money wise, when you came in and said that you gotta cut back, and I'll be like, what? I have to pay how much?
Yeah, that's what's road. They just bank it on this side.
And
but
then-
they don't bank on this side. It's more room, so you want to slide off.
Yeah.
I don't think they.
Richard's on the-
Here.
Maybe burning wood for their heating source.
Right?
Lemons and lemonade.
Right there, I gave-
Uh,
I don't know what type of structure they're building. there. What they apply for an application.
I mean,
Right, but they're not doing it.
I don't know. I don't wanna like undermine your opinion, because it's a real one.
But it's not just the road following, it's firemen doing.
Well, exactly.
It's,
I mean, it's the right thing to do. But is it the right thing to do? You know what I mean?
You're putting them in a financial situation. I mean.
Well, or no, I mean, it's like, yeah. like, if they said, we're not doing it and take us to court over it, where would we fall? Would we win?
I wouldn't say they'd have any ground to stand on first.
So that's what I'm,
How are they gonna take you to court and what are they gonna do?
so yeah, what happens if they say we don't do it? What do we do?
We don't let them have access to the trail. It comes a rule.
All
Because,
their occupancy
so
permits.
we're gonna say you don't have access to your house because you don't wanna be saved by us. Is that really what we're gonna do? I don't think so. I don't know, I didn't think about it, but yes, I mean, well, I don't know, you're gonna have to decide on this one, I can't.
I guess your
Or-
leverage is the occupancy permit that you can hold on.
But,
So that's what I'm wondering, is if you hold back the occupancy permit.
but it's not legally required by law to get an occupancy permit unless they have a bank that's working with them. It's not like they're waiting for us to turn on.
What
the
about
water or
insurance
sewer.
and all of that?
Insurance is rarely asked.
Oh, really? Okay.
But if they had a lender,
If they have.
Insurances
So
don't
if they
ask
don't
for
have
an
a lender,
approved
they'll have
driveway
to-
permits.
no?
Or, but I didn't know they didn't ask for a certificate of occupancy, but it's just mortgages.
So it's more the lenders.
Typically, the only time we see those being
Yeah.
given is when there's a closing on a house. And they want to make sure that they're up to snuff with the town standards, with the listers, or with permitting, and then build some sheds that they were supposed to, et cetera. Or make a bedroom out of a, say, an office or a closet, now they have 5 bedrooms instead of 3 they were permitted for, and they have.
So maybe that's the thing, is you don't get a certificate, I mean, if they're ever gonna wanna refinance, or if they're ever gonna even wanna get.
The way that's sloped down too. So it's the upper part that doesn't have a ditch. All the water is just gonna wanna go over that road.
Yeah, they got a water barrier like midway up, so any water down. Go off or it continues down through like. Fireman's fine if it was a skid road, wood road,
Right.
wood lot or something, where you're gonna travel with tractors and 4 wheels.
But it's,
Should be a little better.
but then it comes down into your ditch.
Yeah, well, there's a ditch that, like where the end of our turnaround is, we had a ditch there already, sort of a water barrier, and we dug it stone lined it. And that's where they put the culvert in, so
But it is very feasible though. All that
a lot of that water could
road
just come right down.
is gonna wash into the ditch
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, it went right down on our,
Was, remember the deed, or maybe I should look at the deed to see what the language says, because it seems that it's all, that was the only route to the property, so to the property that they just bought, was an old.
Well, I thought it was because the McGowan Road kept going over to
yeah.
Woodard neighborhood.
But it hasn't.
No, exactly, and so
So I'm kind
that,
of surprised that they were able to sell that without access.
but it has a right of way access. It had right of way access.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the right of way,
Yeah,
Just-
the whole road is
Yeah.
right away
but
because
then we turned
Even
it
though
into a trail, which is still a
the
right
trail
of way.
now is still right away.
Exactly.
So it's, Joey, does your right of way stop at the end of this? End of McGowan Road where the trail starts, or does your right of way stop at the end of the trail where the right of way starts? Where their house is basically.
I think, yeah, the town right away really continues because it's a public right away. People have a way to walk it through their, drive their car if they want to, and they can't stop them.
Yeah, we told them not doing. We told them, you may consider this your driveway, but people are gonna keep going through there.
So I guess if you looked at it that way, then
We have
if you're gonna,
leverage.
you have a right to tell them what to do in the right away, and you have a right to tell them to do it all the way to where they turn into their driveway.
Right.
Or off, even off their trail onto the driveway portion, which would have kind of verbally told that. you know,
Right.
To
To
have a
maintain.
turnaround and stuff.
So I
So
think
they're working on
it makes absolute sense to get that drainage on that trail part, like they have to do.
The thing is, yeah, I mean, okay, but it's not something probably afford to do right off and
No.
phase it in over time.
What kind of work is involved in this? no matter, if you look at it, you say, oh, it's, with the right equipment, it's gonna be with the debit, or, you may say phasing it over time, what is that?
I don't know what they would think, if they do a portion of it, half of it one year and then do the other half the next year, or what they would.
Or they're putting the thought in their head and just kind of everybody forgets it.
Yeah, maybe they're on a,
Could be up to-
or could they submit a plan, a 2-year plan, like, this has to be remedied within 2 years, or can we do that, or do you want, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe telling us is what you should do to your driveway, and you need to understand if you don't do it in the meantime, until you do get it done.
Yeah.
If we can't get there, can't hold us responsible.
Yeah,
Right.
Yes, like I said, other driveways, there's some
Pushing them to fix it too, if they gotta have any insurance or anything.
Yeah.
I would think, yeah, if they're gonna have insurance, I would think the insurance company's gonna, if they go through an inspection, they're gonna say, what's up with this?
Yeah,
Oh,
Maybe we should put something in there too, where if their driveway does damage our road, they're responsible for
for,
at least some portion of some money to repair it.
Just put a little gravel up there, put a speed bump in so it runs off before it hits your road.
That's basically what was there before, if they, so they started building, and they took out their pile of dirt that we had there for one of the cars, so.
and I thought they hauled that
No. They just hauled in the crushed stone that they're
in.
dragging.
Then they had a little tiny blade there.
Yeah,
There was
a 3
a
point.
couple wheelbarrow loads that are going, dragged up through.
They got a lot more to do to make that into a user friendly driveway. All right, I'll go up and meet with them again, tell them I talked to you guys. She said that, so I didn't see in writing where it said you had to have a certain type of ditch, so it's kind of. I tell people this is what you should do.
right,
Most people want to do it.
yeah,
It's for your own
exactly.
good.
Yeah, you're gonna have to replace your driveway every, whatever, if it washes out every 5 seconds.
Yeah, the fire truck can't get to the new house, you just built.
Yeah.
Next one, something happens.
As we say, maybe the insurance company will step in at that point. You know,
Right,
You would
fire
think,
insurance, you can't get to it.
yeah,
yeah,
Pouring concrete? No. Huh? What's that?
No, he's talking.
Oh,
I don't know.
'cause, like, the truck's gotta get up there,
yeah,
or
right.
they're gonna mix it by hand.
It's possible. The way they're doing that thing, I wouldn't be surprised.
Like, I mean, it makes sense for my house because I can't get a cement truck through my bridge, but what? Okay.
I'm sure they're capable, you always mix it by hand. That's, they're gonna do, they may not.
They was up there working on the foundation. Looked like they're, I don't know, taking my hands.
All right, so maybe they'll be,
I don't know if it was gonna be like pillars.
Yeah.
That must be their building application.
Kind of like down in Bakersfield, there's that, your, whatever, yeah, it just poles in the ground and it's like, yeah, you don't need concrete.
30, whatever it's gonna be.
You're gonna need some more water though. There's some way to keep water
when
warm.
they.
You never have to
well,
worry about the
building
corners.
permit, You ever have to want like a site plan. So
Great.
basically showing the dimensions of the house and everything.
That would be interesting to look to see what the
Yeah.
building infrastructure is.
It's not that when you're up there.
Right?
All right, yeah, I think that's the way you proceed with it for now. We'll try to get that updated. Easier to read language.
Usually I'm not stumped, but that stumped me. That stumped me.
I'll drive up there and take a look at it someday. And then,
I got, I know how the layout looks like in my mind, and it's like, yeah, it's gonna be a problem. It's not, you know, does it roll
Yeah.
off both edges?
Right, no, I know, but I'm just wondering, like, my problem, your problem. Like, that's where I'm stuck, because I can see both sides.
As long as their problem doesn't run into our problem.
Well, that's right, that's
And I
kind
think-
of where
I
I
think
was, but then again.
With
with
Joey's
the-
recommendations on it, you put it all on paper and stuff. And it's on paper. This is the recommendation. They still do whatever they want. This was the recommendation.
Right, true,
Holds them
exactly,
responsible.
exactly.
And maybe in the meantime, insurance company, if they apply for insurance. they'll
Say this was, we did all of the recommendations. Yeah.
I'm sure if they let you do some upgrading there too, right?
Nope, that's exactly right. Mine just flipped. Yep, you put your recommendation and if they didn't follow it, then
Approved.
Then that's
under the
that.
recommendation.
exactly.
But definitely your requirements out of the right away at the end of the last street part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But maybe still continue down the road. We've had this
Yes,
conversation.
no,
before
exactly, we
about
have.
Residential driveway application, shared driveway,
Yeah.
and I actually got some notes at the garage that I got from the state. what the
Exactly,
state
because remember I
does.
said to forward those on and we did, but then it was
I
blocked.
think the state.
It's still time to what's going on in the water tower. You know, probably to look for that, the DRB's been stopped.
Oh, okay.
Well, at least up there, Bushers, right? Yeah. So they've got an engineer who designed it all, so you know an engineer is gonna.
He's gonna have the right ditches and the right culvert,
Right.
take the water and the runoff and all
Might
that.
be a little overkill, but it's gonna be workable. In this case, there's nobody, they're just doing what they can, what they think they should.
Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah, still
That's
continue
all on
on that.
the agenda. Anybody has anything else?
I think so.
Adjourn.
Second.
Dean Ray, made movement to adjourn, Polly Rico second motion. Any more discussion? Having none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. All those opposed, say nay. Have a good evening, everyone. Stay cool.